What's good? Welcome to First String Podcast presented by Bet Rivers. I'm your host, Toothpick. You can follow me on Twitter at Toothpick74. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the First String Podcast. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Enable alerts for new content just like this. On today's episode of First String Podcast, we have NBC Sports Washington's Mitch Tischler. And we have the squad, of course. We're going to cover a couple of things. We're going to go around the NFL and find out who is the best team in the NFC. Y'all ready? Y'all know what time it is. Let's go.
Artlist.io.
First String Podcast is presented by Bet Rivers. Make sure you download that Bet Rivers app or go to www.betrivers.com. You must be 21 years or older to play. Listen, we don't have a whole bunch of time, so we're going to jump right into it, okay? Let's bring in Sid. How are you, sir?
What's going on, my brother? How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. What's on your head?
Oh, just flexing a little bit.
Flexing on, okay.
The White First String Podcast, you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I went from red to white today. Red to white, you know what I'm saying?
Red to white. Okay, let's bring in Lady A. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing great. Surviving down here. This weather is getting kind of crazy.
I don't want no parts, but I do.
Yeah.
What I do want a part of, like said, is flexing on us with this hat.
Right.
And I'm like, come on now, said you ain't gotta do us like that.
Hey, we waiting on ours. Ant was waiting on me to bring him in second, but he was still setting the mood. I think he got it right now. Let's go, Ant. How you doing?
Hey, let me tell you something. Based off of the pro picks, I only care about college now. And if I lose the college, if I lose the college lead, I'm jumping off 20. I'm jumping off 30.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Man. That's all I have left in this life is my lead in college.
That's all you have left.
So unless everybody else did bad with me,
I know I didn't.
I'm gonna say my goodbye. I'm gonna say my goodbyes now.
I didn't do as well as I needed either.
Hold on. Everybody's rocking the First String Podcast t-shirts or hoodies.
Oh
right?
my goodness!
T-shirts on the left side or right side, whatever side man, and on hoodies on the other side. Let's bring in Big Mitch Tischler. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I feel left out. I got no swag over here.
Listen, Mitch. Listen, I'm gonna tell you.
If
you want to hit up B-Rob's guy and get me a First String Podcast big hat, I'd be happy to wear that thing.
Wow.
Speaking of which, I ordered a big hat yesterday.
There you go.
Y'all so rich.
No,
those things cost like $90.
Listen, I know. Everyone was looking into it. Everyone's buying them left and right.
I saw. Hey, look.
That dude made some. B-Rob helped make that guy a little cash.
He did make that dude some cash, especially when Peyton and Eli sported the big hats last night on the Manning cast. Right?
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing. I was like, look at this. I said, B-Rob did it, and he put his boys on. That's amazing. So
hey, one of the boys at the SEC championship game had one on after the game was over, being talked to reporters.
Man,
dude, Brian Fitzpatrick had one on Thursday night.
Yep.
He gave it to Josh Allen, who was wearing it. I mean, that thing got around the NFL real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. On Saturday, we're gonna do something a little crazy here because I don't know if y'all really realized it, but we've been in the gift giving mood our last 2 Saturdays. So this Saturday we are gifting someone a $100 Visa gift card, and we will also be wearing ugly sweaters.
Yes.
And ugly sweaters do not mean cowboy jerseys. Because they are the
It
ugliest.
couldn't be that because look
They
at
are
the
the
Washington colors and
Don't
get
do
up.
that. Don't do that.
Clearly, that's the ugliest
No,
thing
don't
I've
do
ever
that.
You
seen.
know who's the Cowboy fan is, but it's funny. All of us
Right.
said, all of us said, ugly sweaters. I'm just gonna wear my Cowboy jersey.
I'm disappointed in Said, man. He finds his times, man. When I really think we building a strong bond,
But
and
here's
then
the
he
thing.
totally goes and messes it up.
But hold on, Ant.
Why do you guys own Cowboys jerseys?
We don't own Cowboys
don't.
jerseys.
Oh,
It's because they're America's team, sir.
my spouse is from
Oh.
Texas. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. Ant
Don't
only accuses
apologize.
me of hating his team, but I didn't say that. It was.
didn't say
it
what?
was the other two. It was those two.
Yeah, we did.
Uh
I'm
huh.
guilty. I'm guilty.
Hey, listen, Amity Brown. We know it's
What?
okay.
Ouch.
Why I gotta
That's a
be
back.
Almond?
That's a backstage thing. Y'all don't know nothing about.
Hey,
Just
Ouch.
let it ride.
let's say what's up to everyone in the chat before we get going real fast. We got Droop in the house. He was first in the building today. He said,
What's
"Good
up,
evening,
Drew?
everyone." And I also saw you.
Okay,
Drew.
Drew.
I'm still fighting with our manufacturer over our sweatshirts right now with the new logo on it. All right, so I'm still fighting with them right now. So sweatshirts will be out.
Do I need to make a trip?
Yeah, you might have to. You might have to, man.
Do I need to make a trip? Pop the trunk?
Oh.
Please and thank you.
My trunk and dip.
Look, John
If
Graves.
you need a third, I'm in. Let's go.
I got you. John Graves is in the building too, and he's yelling "Go Dogs!" And Ant stopped by and said, "What's up, Droop?" And Droop said, "I'm waiting on my hoodie. I got you.
Mhm.
I got you."
I think he got his hat though.
He got his hat already.
I think so. I think he got his
Okay.
name.
He got his hat before he got his hoodies.
See, that may be what we need to send Big Mitch. We might need to have you just sport that hat around a lot
Right.
a couple times, Mitch. So we got a couple of different new colors coming. Say it's wearing the white. We got some blue,
The
red.
blue is I ain't
The
gonna
blue
lie,
is
It was
not
like
as
a
nice. Really
burgundy.
nice.
that blue
Yeah, that
is
was a
silly.
burgundy.
But the
No, it's
red
not.
is fire too.
The red is hot.
Man.
The red one is hot. So
The red is awesome.
Listen,
the red one is.
that's a job. I don't know who's responsible for the hats,
Man.
but it's a job well
Man.
done.
It's a
I
job
can't,
well done.
look, I can't.
I can only
can't
imagine
really.
who's
I
responsible.
think I know who it is, but I can't say anything because they head's so big already.
Oh
Pause.
wow.
Whoa.
I can't. I don't know who it is.
The
I'm gonna
love.
just.
Why do you think you ordered the big hat?
Hey.
The love.
No, it's not. No, it's not him. It's another guy whose head is already.
All right, let's get this done. Mitch gets center screen. Okay, so listen, the team was back together today, and Ron Rivera spoke and said some things. But the first thing I want to know is, you can't start without talking about the front. Washington offensive line, our bye is the latest you can have a bye, and Washington's offensive line has been battle tested here over the last 2-3 months, right? And they're in the fight, but they've taken some wounds here lately. So my question really is, who are we going to have in the lineup, and who are we going to be missing? Who are we hoping to get back before Sunday?
I think you're going to be getting back both Trey Turner and Sam Cosmi. Tyler Larson going on IR is a huge hit to this O-line. As much as the O-line started to play better when Taylor Heineke got back there and was able to use some of his shiftiness to kind of help out those guys, it also helped when Tyler Larson came back. He came back in the Bears game and kind of was back to full strength when Heineke got back there. Those two guys in tandem really helped pick up this O-line a lot. But it's gonna be interesting to see what they want to do at center, because they have Nick Martin, who came in and started a game after being here for 4 days and played pretty poorly, and then you got Wes Schweitzer, who couldn't snap the ball last time he was in there. Carson Wentz was all over the place trying to get those snaps. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do, but this bye week came at a good time because Trey Turner had been dealing with a thigh injury early in the season, kind of came back and was playing well, kind of re-injured it. I think it sounds like he's gonna be back in the starting lineup. Cosmi has an ankle sprain. Doesn't sound like he's going to miss any time, but again, he's not going to be 100%. So the fact that those two guards are back, though, allows you to make that decision between Wes Schweitzer and Nick Martin at center, and it's going to be interesting because I'm concerned about what they're going to look like up front.
So with that being said, we're playing the New York Giants this weekend on Sunday Night Football. Dallas has been holding down Sunday Night Football for quite a while now, and we saw that they had Houston, so we moved them to a 1:00 game, and they didn't know what to do. They almost gave it away. Now, the Giants, they have some firepower up front. I mean, knowing that we're starting out fourth center this year, I mean, where do you expect to see their big guy? Thibodeau should be all over the line, and what's his name? Wilkerson. Ojulari.
Azeez Ojulari.
Oh my God!
University of Georgia.
Of course.
Here he goes.
Thibodeau and Ojulari are both going to be playing on the outside, so I expect to see similar matchups to. Oh boy.
Yeah,
something.
Every time he
so I
says
expect
Georgia.
to see similar matchups to 2 weeks ago when they played there. It's going to be the big guys up front. It's going to be to see what Dexter Lawrence or the rest of those guys, Justin Ellis, whoever it is, that's going to be playing those two D-tackle roles. I think that they had a lot of success early in that game with Brian Robinson running the ball up the middle, and I think obviously that's been a huge part of this offensive. I don't want to say resurgence because it hasn't quite been a resurgence, but to the offensive success that they've had is being able to run the ball up the middle, and I'm concerned about what that's going to look like with either Schweitzer or Nick Martin in there. So it's going to be interesting. This is a big first test for that O-line, and it's essentially a must-win game. So it's going to be something. I mean, to me, it's got to be Wes Schweitzer. He's the better of the two O-linemen, and hopefully this bye came at a good time where he can spend these 2 weeks snapping the ball. I hope he snapped the ball 10,000 times over these 2 weeks and is able to get the ball back to Heineke in the shotgun and not have to worry about the ball going all over. But it's a different ball game when you're practicing on the practice field and when you're under the lights on Sunday Night Football.
I'm sorry, Mitch. I got to switch you out real fast because Sid is flexing.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So, did you really have a costume change? The wardrobe change?
Where's the red one? Sid, where's the red one? Where's the red
Yeah,
one?
let me tell you something about Sid.
Wait, he cut his camera on.
Let me tell you something. The posturing
God.
that Sid does is second to none. Do you hear me?
Is he posing, y'all?
I think he is. Sid, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice.
Those hats are sick. Those hats are sick. I'm not even gonna
We're
hold you.
definitely gonna have to get Mitch one of those. Mitch, it's not a big hat.
By the way, I'm off on Thursday. However we got to link
Yeah,
up so I
listen,
can get mine.
I'll be getting mine tomorrow.
I'm with it.
Let's get Mitch back over there. Let's get Mitch back there. All right, man. Is that not sick, Mitch? Is that sick?
That's sick. The red one I like. The red one and the white one I like the most. Those two are both sick.
You see,
Black looks good too.
The black one looks
good too.
The black
blue looks a little weird, but I get it.
Yeah, it's
nah. No, I get it. I get it. You guys can't stomach that. What is it? That 5 Super Bowl blue? Yeah, y'all can't stand that.
Oh my God, he's making up colors
It doesn't
now.
look like cowboy blue. That looks like Giants blue.
It does. It actually does. It does look like Giants blue.
My eyes have been
Cowboy
bothering
blue
me
is much
lately.
uglier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Man. Okay.
Rough right there.
Let's get back to this. So Dexter Lawrence did go out in that last game. Is that when Brian Robinson started to have most of his success up the middle? Was when Dexter Lawrence went out?
No, honestly, early in that game, B-Rob was having success. So the fact that they went up 10-0 in that game and walked away with a tie should be infuriating to everybody in that building. Mm-hmm. They have such a razor-thin margin of success, and to get there, they need to get out to leads. And this is the first time, not the first time, but they got out to a 10-point lead, and I think they got a little conservative on the Giants, and I don't think that's something they're going to let happen again. These are two teams that really are going in different directions, and despite all the Commanders' limitations on offense, they should be able to win this game. They should win this game, and they should win it kind of handily. I mean, they're a better football team kind of on both sides of the ball, especially with Saquon being banged up. He only got 11 carries last week. He has the neck injury. If you're able to kind of focus in on Daniel Jones a little more, the Giants offense shouldn't be able to do much. So I look at this game as a game that the Commanders should win and should win kind of handily. Not that they blow anybody out because they can't score enough points.
Let me point something out right quick.
Please.
As you was talking about the offensive line, we had Schweitzer in Atlanta. And I'm gonna tell you, he couldn't block nothing to save his life. Now, I don't know what you guys did to turn that guy around. He couldn't block his shot in Atlanta. I'm just telling you the truth.
Schweitzer is a hell of a run blocker. He's a really, really good blocker in the run. Not so much in the pass. And you guys down in Atlanta, especially with those Matt Ryan teams, were dropping back 40 times a game. That's not as good a spot for him, and especially playing center, having the extra calls and the extra motion pre snap doesn't help him get his momentum going downhill, which is where he is. He's a road grader in the run game. He just struggles in the pass, and so that's why he kind of fits into this offensive line pretty well, because this team does much better when they're running the ball. Can't throw the ball worth damn.
Mitch, I would just kind of give a cautionary. They should win handily. Well, my thing is more so initially just the basic true statement of just how perilous this league is. I don't know if that's a word, but if it is, I like it. How perilous this league is. I mean, look, me and said we cheerleaded Jacksonville all year, and when we left them for dead, and then what do? Go run roughshod. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
and even against Philly this year, Philly looked unstoppable. And then you guys go in there. Well, and to you guys' credit, early in the first game, y'all were able to get stops and move the ball a little bit, and then it went downhill fast. Mm-hmm. I don't know. The one thing we know about New York is that they are well coached. We know the talent isn't there. The coaching is what has this team even halfway relevant. And then Lady A's point is always valid. It's the NFC East. It's a rivalry game. It's two, back-to-back games for Washington playing against them. I don't know, man. I would now. They should win. I do believe they are the better team, but you just don't know in this division.
Yeah. But that's why I say they should win handily. Not I think they will win handily. I think that's the difference. Should and will here. Yeah. And honestly, you mentioned it about the Giants. Brian Daboll should be the model for all rookie NFL coaches coming in, because he took over a team with a quarterback he clearly doesn't like very much. They didn't pick up Daniel Jones's fifth-year option. He clearly doesn't love the kid, but he's done an incredible job of turning that thing around and and putting him in positions to win. And I think that when you look at a lot of coaches, and I point out Ron Rivera, but a lot of coaches come in, and Scott Turner, and they want to run their system. It's my system is good. My guys will get open. This is what they need to do, as opposed to playing to the talent around you. And what Brian Daboll has done up in New York is incredible. And you can look at, William Jackson III and different guys who have come through DC, where they try and put a square peg into a circle hole, as opposed to, hey, this is what this guy does well. Let's put him in those positions to succeed. I love what he's done up there, and I'm fearful of what the Giants are going to look like in a few years, because I think they're ascending, and I think they have a ton of young talent on the offensive and defensive lines, and a great coach. And so, I love what they've done up there, and that's why I think the Commanders should win by a lot. I don't know that they will.
It would be nice to see just a blowout. It would be really nice if we just, handle business the way the Philadelphia Eagles did. All right.
This offense, we all know this offense isn't built to blow anybody out. When I say win handily, I mean they get up 10 early and they don't let the Giants sneak back in. Winning handily for this Commanders team is different than the juggernaut Eagles offense winning handily. A Commanders, handily one game is 21-10 or something like that. Yeah, they're not built to put up 40 points.
Right.
And Carson Wentz coming back, your savior.
First off,
what?
There in a minute.
No,
we will.
Carson Wentz is activated.
But but no one activated and being someone's savior, two totally different things.
Heineke better do well from start to finish.
Heineke has already done better than Carson.
I'm talking about in the next game.
That's a whole different conversation for later. All right, let's go here. They said it's almost 20 after. We got like a minute. You want to do your thing?
Well, of course. Since I'm in the building, let me go ahead and do a refresh of last week's results so we can see exactly where we stand and how well we did in week 14 before we start week 15. So I'll review week 14, and we got bam.
Yes.
Lady A 8-5. I'm at 8-5. Two pick 8-5.
Same sandwich.
Took a week off. He took a week off, and what a time him to take a week off. Going into the playoff time, he took a week off. So guess what? Somebody reached out and touched him. Somebody reached out and
Oh,
touched it.
look at that.
So you said you need me to get off this show so I can go help wash dishes and clean. All right, give me a second. I'm finna get off the show right now.
And he was
I'm not even
talking
gonna tell him.
much
I'm just gonna
trash.
leave.
And look at her.
Look at that.
I grew my lead a little bit. Lady A switched spots with Aunt Mo.
Oh,
So guess who will be
look at
picking third?
Mm.
Lady A. Yes, she will be. Pick. You did okay. You still above 500. You closed in a little bit. You made it real close. I can't say you did too bad last week.
Hey,
Look
same
at
same.
that. And you know, Aunt was talking so much trash to me. I said,
I was not talking trash to you.
Yes, you were.
I was talking
said,
trash to said on behalf of you.
Because I said,
That's
I'm
what
only
happened.
2 games behind you, Aunt. You were like, and you know, you were talking trash.
Hey, this gets real
Hey,
competitive, Mitch. This gets real competitive.
Like I said, I only care about college, so I don't care about this anymore. We can talk about this all y'all want to. I don't care. I'm only picking the Cowboys games, and y'all can have the rest of it.
And big dogs do what?
Big dogs eat.
Big dogs die earlier because their hearts give out.
Oh my god!
Anything else? Anything else there, ma'am, that you wanted to know?
I just wanted to know because I feel like that
Hold on.
changed. That's not what you said before.
Mitch,
We'll see.
how's George Carver?
He's doing good. He's right here.
There's Carver. Look at him.
Chilling.
Look.
He wants to. He heard all the dog talk. He wanted to get involved.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I'll let Sid handle the dogs. I'm more of the fish guy.
See,
Oh my
I'm
god.
I'm pescatarian
Whatever. You
Okay, great.
or
Hey,
Episcopalian,
Carver's
whichever
picking
one.
Carver's picking Georgia to win it all.
He's picking Georgia. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Let's
Big
go. All right,
dogs
so
eat.
we got one pick for you guys today, and that's the Thursday game. So, Mitch, you did this with us before, and the rules are like this. Mitch, you can play this any way you want. However, First String Podcast, we have to choose a winner, right? Big Dog's Tire.
That's a hell of a line right there.
Hey, I try to just give you guys some sauce, you know,
Right.
some sauce
no,
to use.
no.
So,
That was
all
different.
right, let's go over this one right here now. Hey, listen, I told you guys that San Fran was done because Jimmy G was down. Boy, was I wrong after what Purdy has done. Man, they're not. Kyle Shanahan is not asking this guy to do anything that he's not good at doing. What a novel concept, right?
Man, that sounds awful familiar. Who said that last week?
Christian
Somebody
McCaffrey.
said that last week. Who said that last week?
Hey, Christian McCaffrey is doing Christian McCaffrey type things. Debo Samuels will be gone for a couple of weeks. Brandon Ayuk has stepped up. George Kittle. They have weapons galore, and their defense is legit. You have Seattle. Seattle is taking a turn for the worse. Geno Smith was talking. They were talking about extending Geno Smith. Now they made. I hope he signed it early because 12 o'clock has come. Has he turned into a Cinderella? The running games disappeared.
You mean a pumpkin?
And how? Yeah, has he turned back into a pumpkin? My bad. I didn't say Cinderella. Hey, how long before DK Metcalf starts crying for the ball? Let's check out the line. We got San Francisco at -3.5 at -104. The money line is -190. Seattle is +3.5 at -117. And their money line is +155. The over-under is set at 43.5 right now. 110 both ways. Graphics department did a great job. I heard they came in at the last minute and got this together with no mistakes. They will get
It's must go hell in summer and tell
Hey,
you.
we're supposed to have a tornado tonight. So graphics might get up in
That's
there.
what happened.
That
They
makes
think it's
sense.
gonna be over with.
Right? Yeah. So Mitch, how you playing this?
I mean, you said it earlier. This is a parity league, and every time it feels like everything's going one way and everything's going the other, the Niners are sending, the Seahawks are falling apart. Not so fast. I think the Niners are going to win, but it's going to be inside the 3.5. I got 2017 Niners win. So the Seahawks cover though.
All right. So Pick has to go first, even though I had a great week. Ant took the week off. He was picking like I pick.
Pick didn't make any picks.
No, but I had the same sandwich that Sam did. I had the same sandwich. And it tastes great. It tastes great. And it had bologna and cheese. It was.
Did you guys also both cut your hands and put your hands together and call each other
What?
brothers?
We did that. We did that 2 years ago.
I'm not even. I'm sorry. I'm not even counting last week. I'm not even counting last week for you, sir. He just says, "Say, where you going? Is that your coattails?" Hopped on his coattails.
Hey, don't be mad. Don't be mad.
I ain't mad. I'm just saying. Don't be jumping. Don't be in here talking. Don't be in here talking crap now.
Listen, hey, the thing about this game right here, it's a division game. Division games are always close. And Seattle and San Fran, I really think that they are becoming the new Pittsburgh-Baltimore rivalry, right? This game really should be played at midnight in a dark alley, with no cops around, because they probably would fight each other. And let the paramedics sort them out for real.
Oh,
I really do believe that San Fran's defense is legit, and their defense coordinator will be a head coach here in the near future. I'm gonna go San Fran money line here.
all right, San Fran.
Before Eric Bieniemy?
Yes,
This is the league we watch, huh?
this is the league we watch and love to watch.
Wait, what about Bieniemy? You think he's going to Seattle?
No, I'm
He's
saying he's saying that
coordinator.
we'll get a job before Eric Bieniemy. It's like, huh? Okay, but no knock to him, but it's just like, this guy's only been a part of a winning, successful franchise for a long time here, half a decade, whatever. But yeah, so short and sweet. It doesn't feel comfortable down here. I'm too close to pick. Makes me feel a little antsy, a little queasy. But I'll have some of his same sandwich. I hate to say that.
I thought you said you only ate fish, because there's meat on this.
Yeah, it's a fish sandwich. It's catfish. That's also pescatarian. I don't know if you know that. Pesca fish. Now I gotta break down the food groups to you.
Oh my!
I can't do anything. I can't do this with you today, man. Give me San Francisco 49ers on the money line.
Oh man!
Your Seattle has that famous fish market.
Hey, apparently he doesn't know that you can eat fish on a sandwich in between pieces of bread.
I'm accountable. On this right here, there's nothing but bacon.
Before we get too far away, let me say this, because we were sliding down the road. Brock Purdy had some hurt ribs and a bleep.
Oh, he got
limited in practice. He was limited in practice today. Just so you know. They got San Francisco has a safety that's out in the concussion protocol. Seattle has nobody significant out except for the person we already knew was with Kenneth Walker.
Right.
Everybody else is questionable with the chance to play. The only one you got to worry about right now is Purdy.
Before Mitch made his pick, he might want to change now.
I could go play quarterback for San Francisco.
No.
More than
I go play quarterback for San Francisco with that defense.
Okay. Go ahead, Lady A. Talk to me what you got. Picking in the second spot.
So with that said,
You show. Hold on.
He's
Hold
so
on.
shady.
Let's fix this real quick.
He's so
Let's get it.
shady.
Hey, let's get him out of here.
Oh.
He doing too much.
You kicked him out.
Man, hey, don't do it. Hey, don't do that, bro. You doing a lot. You working a little too hard for this, ain't you saying?
Oh my goodness.
Hey, put him back up there. I ain't touching. I ain't moving him. He gonna disrespect up here, man.
Oh man.
Alright, so-
I'm sorry, Lady A. I'm so sad you was disappointed. A. Go ahead and make a spot. Big dog eat.
Well, looking at it's terrible. Looking at that game against the Bucks, San Francisco embarrassed them 35-7. Like most people didn't see that coming. Even if you thought San Francisco was going to win 35-7, say you knew 35-7. Not just that they were going to win, but 35-7. Come on now. But and then on the other side, you look at the Seahawks. They were favored against Carolina, but they lost. So they're coming off of a little. They were in their feelings. So Seahawks are in their feelings right now. I do feel like it's going to be a good game. That's why the line is it's pretty close based off of what they're saying. I'm going to just take San Francisco money line because of that. You never know with these games.
Lady A going San Francisco money line.
money line. Say it. What you
I got the button. I got the button ready. So go ahead.
He's changing again.
He's switching. He got a wardrobe change. Look at him.
All right. So now that I'm got a little shoulder lean on Ant there. Just a little bit of shoulder lean. No, for real. I think Seattle coming off their loss last week gonna be a little bitter because they lost at home. The 49ers played a game. They played a perfect game, but they lost one of their key parts, which is Debo, which means the defense can now crack down on the other two and put a little pressure on the 49ers. With that being said, I'm going with the 40 Seattle at home. Money line.
40 Seattle? Hold on.
Give me
I'm
Seattle.
already ready.
Give me Seattle.
You want money line?
Plus 3.5.
Oh.
You said money line. Make up your mind.
I changed my mind. Big dog can do that at the top. But go ahead. Give it to me.
Hold on, no.
Turn your head. No, turn your head.
Mitch chose Seattle plus 3.5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
No Wilson. No.
So wait. So you telling me this ain't relevant?
No.
I'm Debo. Who? Debo.
I need to tuck mine in.
You mean tell me we don't gotta tuck it in?
We ain't gotta tuck it in.
Hey, they got to tuck it in this week.
Yeah.
Pause.
Debo is not gonna be snatching chains.
Don't forget, all lines are brought to you guys by Bet Rivers. So download that Bet Rivers app or go to www.betrivers.com. Also, the First String Podcast can now be listened to anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. We are live on Odyssey, baby. So, well, we're not live. You'll catch us on the download right there. How about that? But we're on Odyssey, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. We're everywhere. We're in your face like space. We're everywhere like air. That's what we are. All right. So we talked about the offensive line, and Ron Rivera spoke today. Did he say anything about the defensive line and anything about number 99?
Well, I mean, I think you got to start with both Montez Sweat and James Smith-Williams are in the concussion protocol.
Right.
Now, I would imagine that they're working their way through it, and by the time Sunday night comes around, they'll be playing. Well, tomorrow when we're out of practice, if they're out there, then we know that they're far along in the concussion protocol, and they just haven't done the final test yet. As far as Chase Young goes, I mean, it seems to me it makes sense that he comes back this week. It's hard for me to believe that he's gonna miss the Sunday night national TV game at home. They do defensive introductions, and Chase Young is the last guy they introduce to get the crowd pumped before the game starts. He's got to come back this week. He's got to. So I don't know. Certainly things haven't been as smooth in the rehab process as everyone tried to tell us it was. And honestly, this coaching staff and this regime has been pretty short on injury details, and a bunch of times guys have had quote unquote minor injuries, and then all of a sudden they're put on IR. You look at Cole Holcomb, you look at whoever else you want to bring up from that group, and it's JD McKissick, whoever else it is. It's been frustrating because if they're just more straightforward with you, they can be straightforward about what the injury is without giving away competitive advantage. And the more that they're clandestine about what these injuries are, the more chatter it creates, the more it creates buzz, social media, radio, TV, everywhere it goes. And clearly Chase Young's knee injury was way more severe than we were ever let to know. And the fact that it's taken this long to come back is troublesome. It's troublesome for Chase. The D-line's played pretty dang good without him. And I would argue that even when he does come back, whatever his first game is, if it is Sunday night, he's not going to see more than 10, 20 plays in that game. They're going to be slow with him.
All right.
I believe it when we see it.
We are live, and we have Mitch Tischler from NBCS Sports Washington with us. Also from did y'all change the name of the podcast?
We're staying strong. Washington Football Talk Pod, baby.
There we go. Washington Football Talk Pod. I know y'all were talking about changing it again, which you can find everywhere too, just like air. It's always in your face like space. So check out him, JP, and Pete Haley on their podcast as well. It's a really good listen. So follow them as well. Go ahead, Ant.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm always erring on the side of player safety, so I do believe that give Chase another week and those two other guys, just keep them out another week just to make sure that we don't have another Tua Tagovailoa type situation. You guys, you want to rush these guys back, and then their hands are doing weird stuff, and we don't want that. So let's just keep them out. Don't rush them. Let them sit the whole year so that he could get fully acclimated to being healthy again. Those other two guys, check to make sure they're okay. Bang them against their head. Put their helmet on. Bang their helmet. If they don't respond, they're good. If they going back into concussion protocol, sit them for the rest of the year. It's all about keeping these guys safe. And so you see what I'm saying? Take Chase Young's knee. No, take Chase Young's knee.
No.
Jerk on it. See, make sure it's good. That's what they do. That's what they do when they bring you in and they do a physical.
That's enough of Ed right now.
Yes, he needs to.
Is that a Cowboy fan concerned about the Commanders being right behind them?
Come on, guys. Don't mute me. I'm just looking out for your players.
Like we do not
he keeps muting me. And I'm just looking out for you guys' safety.
We do not need your concerns.
In other news, we signed T.Y. Hilton.
In other news.
Oh God! Thank you, Ed. Ed's always there. Okay, let's have this battle right now. Okay, all right. It's getting close to playoff time. This is when the cream starts to rise to the top, right? This is when you want to be playing your best football heading into the month of December with a couple left and making that playoff push. Okay, so let's start this like this. What must the Commanders do to secure themselves a playoff spot? We'll start with Mitch, and then we'll let Ant talk, and we'll ignore everything that Ant says.
Yep.
We'll go to Lady A and then say it. All right.
I think 2-2 down the stretch gets them into the playoffs. You look at it, Giants, winnable game. Going out to San Fran is going to be tough on a short week, but we talked about their injuries. Cleveland, Deshaun Watson's still getting back. That's winnable on New Year's Day. And then you can mute Ann right now. Last game of the season, the Cowboys are probably going to be sitting folks, so that shouldn't be it should be a winnable football game as well. But I think when you look at it, both the Giants and Seahawks are going the wrong direction. I think the Lions might sneak up into that seventh playoff spot. They're playing really good football, and they have some winnable games down the stretch. And I don't think the Giants have enough, and the Seahawks schedule is too tough going there. So I think the Commanders are going to go in that sixth spot, and they're probably going to end up playing. Who would it be? I guess it would be the Vikings.
Bring on the Vikings.
Yeah.
They end up playing San Fran in the first round more than likely.
Yeah.
Right now, the Vikings are sitting in a 2 spot.
Right.
That's right. So if we play the 3 spot, we're playing San Francisco.
We're playing San Fran again.
I mean, not Carson.
But what y'all do need to worry about is Detroit.
Oh yes.
Because even if Detroit makes it to the 7th spot, if y'all got the same record, y'all will flip flop because they got the tiebreaker over you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's for the better. I'd rather play the Vikings than play the 49ers.
Sure.
So
you got that right.
You kind of don't want to be in that 6th spot because that seems to be where the Niners sit. And hell, you get Kirk in a primetime playoff game. We've all seen it. We know what this thing looks like. A leopard doesn't change its spots. We know what Kirk's going to go do in the playoffs. He's going to throw up over himself. And I think the Vikings are one and done this year.
I don't think that Kurt wants to see that defensive line anymore because they beat him down.
They hurt him.
They beat him down.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson does, on the other hand, though. He's excited.
Juice had a great game. We'll get into that in a minute. Ant, go ahead.
Juice had a good game. He still went for 10 for 150 and a touch.
Yes, I was about to say. I'm glad you said it.
No, I think one of these guys. I think Washington or the Giants, and I believe that, of course, with the Giants losing to Philly, I think Washington more than likely wraps up that spot. I don't think at the end of the year that the Cowboys will be sitting people because this is just me, and y'all can say what you want. I do believe that Philly will lose at some point to make it interesting. So I believe that when it comes down to that final spot, that final game, that may be to push the Cowboys down to the 5th seed, or because I've said it all along. I said that they were gonna beat us. Well, in my heart of hearts, they were gonna beat us that first game. We were gonna win the second game. I think Washington will wrap up that 6th spot, and it's Detroit. So I know they're playing well, but we've seen this show before. So I don't know. I think that 7th spot, the offense is clicking way better. So I think they could creep up to get that 7th spot. But I do believe Washington is playing. They found their groove, and that they'll lock up that 6th spot. So
I gotta disagree with you, Ant. We have not seen this Detroit Lions team before. We have not seen a Detroit Lions team that's been playing defense this well at the end of the year.
But they've been inconsistent.
But their defense is next to last, too, said. Their defense is still next to last.
My thing is overall they've been inconsistent.
I'm just telling you. If you look at the last 2 games of this defense in the best time of the year, it's only, 4 games left.
Yeah.
Their defense is playing very well going down the stretch. People better stop. They better stop looking past Detroit's defense.
Let me look.
As long as they're throwing the ball
got.
to Penny Sewell, we're in good shape.
We're just used to Detroit looking like
the rest of the way they have the Jets, the Panthers,
winnable,
the Bears,
winnable,
the Packers,
winnable.
All of
right.
Winnable.
Absolutely.
I don't think they're winning 4 straight. But all 4.
They may not, but I'm saying they're winnable. Those are winnable games.
They could easily get 3 out of 4, but we're just so used to seeing Detroit look like trash that when they're doing something, it's like what?
They've been so inconsistent that it's hard to buy into it. You know, they would have to prove it to you by winning out or winning the 3 of the last 4.
I believe they've won 5 in a row, right?
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Their last loss is Buffalo Thanksgiving.
And I hate to toot our horn here, but we did say Detroit. We did say
no.
Hold on.
I didn't say
okay. Well, that's fine. You don't have to take the credit.
You know, I'm never gonna say that.
Yeah,
but
me
and said for sure said that this would be one of the teams. Detroit was one of those sleeper teams, and that the Jets were one of those sleeper teams at the beginning of the year. And they let us down. You know, they started off okay, and then they let us down, and then now they're starting to pick up that momentum. So,
well, I said Detroit is a year away, along with the Jets, and it looks like the Jets are literally a year away. If they have another solid draft, you best believe Buffalo is in trouble. Lady A, what do the Commanders need to do to secure a playoff spot?
Well, obviously, the first thing we need to do is win this game on Sunday. That is vital to our playoff spot, our position within the NFC East, all of that. Real talk, I prefer them to win all of the games that we have left for this season. But I agree, Mitch, with the 2-2. If you do the 2-2, you could win that 6th spot. However, I'm just going to I don't need to be on the field yelling at them, but if I need to be at the same time, I'll do it. I'll take one for the team and go ahead and go on that field and yell at them, because you guys need to win these last 4 games. Like, you got to get it done. Will they do it? They may do 3 out of 4, but you know, we definitely need to beat the Giants. So that's a minimal.
Got you. All right. Hey, it's really battle royal time now, okay? All right. Give me your top.
Right, you ain't asked Sid.
I thought Sid got it in there.
Negative.
My bad. Go ahead, Sid.
There's so many different hats going on. It's just
because I gotta put it out there. I'm kind of a little weirded out how you just disrespected Deshaun Watson at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that they're gonna be no juggernaut, but they have been playing consistently pretty well.
Consistently
on
pretty
offense.
bad.
For how many games?
He's played 2 games.
He's only played 2 games.
Right.
The 2 picks. The 2 picks he's thrown in the end zone.
Deshaun Watson is a superstar. Don't get me wrong.
Don't tell him nothing. They just
telling you what
he gonna stink
he's
up
driving the ball downfield. They're making mistakes in the red zone. At some point, it's gonna click. That's all I'm saying.
Hasn't played in a year and a half. I agree with you. I love Deshaun Watson as a football player. I think he's damn good. I think sitting out for a year and a half. I'm just saying. What I'm saying, Mitch, is as I watched the game, in the first 2 quarters, he missed 1 pass. Right?
In the second game.
Yeah,
he's getting better.
Now that's my point. That's my point. I'm not saying they're gonna come out and be a juggernaut. Boom, 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 boom. No, they're keeping the game close, and they're gonna start making people nervous down the stretch. I'm not saying they may win, but it only takes one mistake for the other team to trip over to get in that spot.
What did we say when Deshaun came back? I know me personally, I said I was like the issue with Deshaun is that he hasn't played.
Right.
And he hasn't played with this team. So you have to have that connection. A good football team, they all flow well together. And he's not gonna have that right now.
The Browns run the hell out of the ball.
With them.
The Browns run the hell out of the ball.
The Browns do run the ball.
But as you pointed out, when you haven't played football in a while, when you're at midfield and you have the entire field wide open, it's easier to pick and choose your spots. When you got to be quick with the ball in tight spots, that's when you're going to be a little rusty. And when you're talking about red zone and end zone picks, that's where your rust is going to show up. That's not to say that that's any indictment on him long term as a quarterback, but when I look at him for the last 4 games of this season, honestly, with his all 6 games of his coming back, this is his preseason. This is his knocking the rust off, getting back into the football shape, and then being used to the grind of week to week and all those kinds of things. I mean, this is something that doesn't come back right away.
But this is one of the guys that was considered a top 5 quarterback before he left the field. He's not the average Joe, even though he's been out for some years. And his learning curve, I don't believe, is going to be the same as a lot of these other guys. Not saying that he's going to hit his full stride, but I think we will see him get incrementally better.
Right.
And if we look at the Browns by and large, we know they got a run game that's gonna travel, and it's gonna be respected now that they got a guy that can throw the ball, and they have a good defense. So it's not to say that you guys won't take care of business. It's just don't assume that that's just gonna be a check because Watson's still trying to get in the groove. Because him at 50% is still gonna be better than Brissett. I'm sorry. So that's all I'm saying.
Hold on. One thing.
Hold on.
What was he missing? What was he missing in his first game?
What was he missing?
You mean who?
Yep.
Who or what?
Who or what is 2 different things.
Same thing. Who or what?
No, it's not.
His number one tight end, a quarterback's best friend, was missing from game 1 versus Houston.
Come on.
Okay.
Well, but they won. It doesn't matter. They won.
He won without scoring an offensive touchdown.
That should be scary for y'all.
He hit Njoku last week. He's a tight end. What's up?
He had Njoku this week, and he looked a lot better.
Hold on, Shirai. It's not that we're being disrespectful to Jacoby. Jacoby is a solid backup. He's just a backup, though.
Yeah.
And we saw that because I ain't gonna lie. I was expecting more from him. He can't get it done. I'm sorry.
One last point on the Browns game.
Okay.
That game is played on New Year's Day. For a Browns team that's going to be entirely eliminated from everything. They're going to have a night in DC to hang out.
Yeah.
Let's see what they look like in the morning.
They gonna get some lemon pepper wet.
So are they officially eliminated? Are they already officially eliminated? No, hold on, because the way this thing could shake out, the Giants could end up being your last win of the season. So it may not be looking too far off here.
Well, and you always root for us to lose.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm being realistic here. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be a hater. The Giants should be a win. But we just said going to the 49ers is going to be tough. We don't know what we're going to get from the Browns at quarterback. And then the last game of the season, all bets are off. We don't know what it could be looking like. That's all I'm saying. But did y'all ever answer this one?
To what Mitch said. New Year's Eve in DC, and DC swallows up a whole bunch of pause. DC,
DC.
That's
how they do it out there in DC.
A bunch of athletes on the regular. We do. You can't Real talk. I cannot count how many athletes have come into DC and gotten themselves in trouble. You have and entertainers personally, because you have artists, musical artists that do have the same problem. DC does something to people. I don't know what it is, but somebody may not make it to the game because they may be downtown, in a 4x4 sale. So what do we say?
Do they swallow him whole or do they swallow him alive?
Hey, pause on that. Pause on that. Pause. Listen, hey,
I'm just trying to get context. That's it.
I'm just saying that it happens though,
Chocolate City. I feel you.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
problem.
listen.
So it's New Year's Eve. Oh man.
I'm not saying that guys are getting locked up on New Year's Eve. I'm just saying they might come to the stadium a little hungover. That's where I'm going.
For all intents and purposes, keep Deshaun in his room. Do you hear me?
Man.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
so
I'm gonna
messy.
look. No, we just gonna
Hey.
keep this a buck here. We ain't even gonna play around with it. Keep him in his room
Listen,
They need
without his credit card.
They do. They need a handler for him.
is-
He needs something has to happen.
Pause.
A handler?
They need pause. Just take
Listen.
that one a little slow.
he does not need a handler. Please,
He's been handled.
he's been handled.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, he's an expert at the handling.
All right.
Oh.
Listen, who's the best team in the NFC? We got the Philadelphia Eagles looking like they've unlocked the best of AJ Brown. We have the Cowboys, who still seem like they want a shot at the NFC East title, and they're not ready to let Philly just run away with it. Minnesota came back to earth a little bit here. The 49ers are just shocking people with a third string quarterback. All right, so literally I'm asking everyone, put it in the chat as well, who you guys think the best team in the NFC is right now. Of course, I know some of you guys will throw in their Commanders, but hey,
Please
who
don't do
is
that.
that top team in the NFC East? Who do you guys think?
Philly.
Philly's
the best team.
hate it.
I mean, listen, it's terrible that the Niners have had as many injuries as they had, because I would have said it was a toss up between Philly and San Fran, but right now it's Philly and Dallas are the top two. And as Commanders fans, it sucks to look at the division and see those two juggernauts there, but that's where they stand right now.
Yeah.
Philly's incredible right now, and the turnaround that they've created for Jalen Hurts is nothing short of spectacular. They made a ton of huge moves in the offseason and have catered an offense to what Jalen Hurts does well and have made him successful. I mean, this is a team that is going to be a real tough out, because they run the ball well, they throw the ball well, and they play the run well. I mean,
Oh my God, they play the run.
it's a tough spot. I think. I mean, I've said it. I've been saying it for a while. I have a good buddy who's an Eagles fan. I think Hurts might win the MVP as well. I mean, he's
don't tell him that,
right
Mitch.
up there with
Mitch, don't tell him that. They don't want to hear that.
Is that Daniel?
They don't want to hear that, Mitch. They do not want to hear that, because I said at the beginning of the year, they do not want to hear that. None of
Well,
them.
you said that before.
Hold on.
a
He
game
didn't
was
say.
played.
He didn't
So
say.
we
He
didn't
didn't
want to
say.
hear
He
that
did
then.
not say that Hurts was going to win MVP at the beginning of the season.
He said Philly was going to win the division.
No,
he
he
said he
said.
was the top
He
quarterback.
said Philly would be the best in the division, and he said that Hurts would be the best quarterback in the
Right,
division. He never
right.
said
Yeah.
nothing about MVP. Don't do that.
No, but he did say.
But I will
Philly
say
would win
this.
the
But I
division.
will say this. Is it Daniel Morey? Is that guy's name? Is that his for Philly? Is that the owner guy? What's his name?
Oh,
Jeffrey Lurie.
Jeffrey Lord.
There we go.
Man, you
that
messed
guy.
that name
Daniel
all up.
Morey, Jeffrey Lord. Hey, I ain't screw up names like you do. Don't you do that?
I will kill
But-
names.
It's similar. It's similar.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I'll say this though. That guy deserves all the respect in the world. He's only reinvented this team a few times in the last decade to make them relevant.
yeah.
And at some point it can't be hate. And as much as I feel the way I feel, I can step back and see when an organization is doing it the right way. And Philly is doing it the right way. They just won a Super Bowl 5 years ago, and they're already back in position to do it again with a quarterback that we swore could only run the ball. Like I said, he was Herschel Walker at the beginning of the year.
Not we. Whoa.
Man, say it. We know what you're saying.
But
Whoa.
hold on, that's a really good point though, because Philly bought into Jalen Hurts, didn't give up on him too quickly, surrounded him with weapons. They did what they could to make him successful. And there are too many teams in the NFL that don't do that. They bring in a guy, they chew him up, spit him out, decide after 2 seasons he's no good, we got to move on from him. They committed to him. They put the team on his back and said, "Hey, we're going to put the best weapons around you. We're going to beef up our O-line, and it's up to you to prove that you belong here." And
let's see if they pay him first before we say they committed to him.
What are you talking
They
about?
didn't have no other options, honestly. It's good that he actually did take a step up. But to answer the question, it's definitely Philly at this current moment. They're clicking on all cylinders. They're looking like the best team in the NFC for sure.
And
All right,
unfortunately,
Sherrod
I
said-
agree.
That's
I
good.
agree. It's Philly.
I got you, Lady A. Sherrod said the 49ers are showing have a defense and a few offensive weapons you can win. What separates Heineke and Purdy outside of a little experience? Oh, well, it's wide open, though. No, and then he comes back and he says, yeah, it's Philly. Philly gets it, definitely.
I mean,
What
okay,
separates
we
Heineke
must
and
say-
Purdy
the
is
difference between Brock Purdy and Taylor Heineke.
I must say,
A draft position.
yeah, it is Philly. Now, what I would say is it was hard for me to believe that Minnesota is still at 8-2.
Yeah.
I mean, not 8-2,
8-3.
but 8-3.
Yeah.
That was surprising to me.
10-3?
I thought they were
They're 10 and
9-3.
3.
Oh, 10-3.
10 and 3.
Yeah,
10 and
yeah,
3.
they were.
Listen
Well,
to
that's what
Kick
they
over
were
there.
at.
No, you had the 8. I just
said
put the
the
3
8.
in there.
You throw the 10 in there. Anyway, but they're one of the surprise teams for me. I still think Philadelphia is better because of the way they built their defense. And those defensive players that were hurt, they came back last week, so they're back for the stretch run for the last 4 games.
Right.
So with them coming back, it's going to make it hard for a team to run on Philly, which gives them more options, which makes people have to adjust different ways to play against that team, offensively and defensively. They're one of the most complete teams in the NFC we got right now.
But and just the last thing on the Minnesota thing, said we know what that is, and I talked about it earlier in the year. They got lucky. You know, you can't win all these last possession down to the wire games like that. It doesn't indicate how good a team really is. And as we've seen from statistics, that varies from year to year. You'll have teams that'll lose like 6 games where it was like 1 possession by less than 5 points or whatever. The next year, though, the stats literally flip. It's just the nature of the league. So I've said it.
You know what team it is this year?
What team?
Minnesota, but who else?
Detroit.
I know.
Detroit lost a bunch of games last year by
okay, I see what you're saying.
They lost a bunch of games last year by less than a touchdown. Detroit.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, I didn't see it from that angle. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Minnesota, I think no matter who they run into, they're out.
Let's be real. Hold on, let's back up. Are we really saying it's Detroit? Detroit's record right now is 6-7. They're not above 500. Is it really Detroit that did that?
But it's a lot of teams.
They got 4 winnable games.
Well,
for the
and
rest
the
of
point,
the season,
and the point, what he's saying is, a lot of these games that they're winning this year to even be at 6-7, they lost last year.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. It literally it's like a 50-50 that is going to carry over. Typically, the teams that are consistently good are going to win by more than a possession, or by whatever the point spread is. So, you can't buy into that. But they'll still pay Kirk Cousins a lot of money.
One thing.
Only thing is you gotta. Good teams win those games, though, right?
Right.
The Cowboys just beat the Texans in a game that was way closer than it should have been because they're a good football team. The Commanders barely eked out a win against the Colts. Those are games you got to win if you want to make the playoffs in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's the teams that do it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in a season that you can look to as coming back to earth. Going into this season, I thought the Eagles could be a big drop-off team because last year they got what the Commanders got in 2019, where they played every backup quarterback the second half of the season and beat up on a bunch of bad teams to make the playoffs. Now, the Eagles made a ton of great moves in the offseason to counteract all that.
They didn't bring back the same squad exactly.
Right, they didn't bring back the
draft
same
was amazing. Free agency was amazing. Like they made a lot of moves. If you bring back that same team, they don't. Yeah, so that's why I give Lauren credit.
To that point, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you look at the Commanders this offseason, they spend the draft building up their O-line,
Yeah.
re-sign Deron Payne, and go get yourself. There's going to be 12 starting quarterbacks that are free agents this year. Pick out the one that you think is the star. So, get them for a year, get them for 2 years, whatever it is, and
Right.
try and run it, because this team is borderline built to win for a couple of years, and they're a couple pieces away, and they're huge pieces because obviously we're talking quarterback, and you got to get one.
Quarterback, offensive line, yeah.
Quarterback and O-line are really your only. When you go into this offseason for the first time in a decade, maybe longer, you're looking at this team and you're like, all right, we definitely need to beef up O-line. We got to beef up tackle, guard. Probably got to get another linebacker.
There's some guys you got to pay on the defensive line too, don't you?
Yeah.
We got
It's a couple of guys you got to make decisions on because it's Chase. Is
only one. Duran's the only one.
Deron.
Montez Sweat, you pick up the 5th-year option. That's an obvious one. You don't have to do anything with Chase yet.
This is his 3rd year though, right?
And you got
Montez is on his 5th-year option next year. This offseason they pick up Chase's 5th-year option, which is obviously going to happen. Mm-hmm. So the only one they have to really make a call on is Deron Payne.
Right.
But you still got to pay Curl as well, right?
You got to pay Curl too, but those are deals that can get done. He's a 7th rounder. He's not going to be begging for a ton. He's not going to be asking for, superstar money.
Right. It don't work like that though. Once these guys get in the league and they produce, it's all fair at that point. They can't go back. Like, look at Dak. You can't go, boy, you're a 4th rounder. You gotta these guys are. No. They try to do that, but you got to pay these guys, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I do think this is. I do believe this though.
Curl has one more year. Curl's not a free agent this offseason. Okay. They should pay him this offseason,
right?
So you don't get into the final year where you have to. Then he can hold you over their knee until because he has free agent looming. They need to pay him this offseason, but he's still got another year on his deal.
Right.
But based on a few moves that the East may make, I think they go back to being a powerhouse next year.
I mean, they're a powerhouse this year.
They're a powerhouse right now.
Right now.
Yeah, but it was like
everyone was calling the NFC least, and
all 4 teams are in the playoffs. What more do you want?
If the but the Giants aren't a real contender. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not a real contender. Who's thinking? Okay, anybody out here think the Giants are making the playoffs? Like in reality,
they can.
It happen.
Yeah, that's not what I asked. I didn't say it can happen. I said, do y'all we're on a sports show and we got to make definitive statements sometimes.
You want me to make a definitive statement?
Here's the thing, Ant. There are 5 teams that feel the Giants are not as bad as you say. 5 teams.
There's 5 teams. I don't care about the teams. They got to go play football. I'm saying for us on this show, you got Detroit and you got Seattle. Okay. You telling me that the Giants are gonna?
Detroit's coming up, and the Giants are staying up there too. Seattle's falling out.
Seattle doesn't look like
Seattle's not in there though.
No, Seattle after the last loss, Seattle's out.
Seattle's out.
Now before Seattle lost, the Giants are out. It was Seattle, Washington, Giants.
Yeah, the Commanders are at 6, and then the Giants at 7.
And
we talked about the Giants schedule.
After Seattle.
We're picking nits here. We're talking about the NFC East, whether it's dominant or not. If the worst team is a borderline playoff team, we agree they're probably not going to make the playoffs. But the worst team is a borderline playoff team.
Right.
Is through I think it was through week 10 or 11, I believe. The NFC East had the best record of any division in the NFL since 1970. Mm-hmm. Like this is a dominant division right now, and it came out of nowhere. No one expected it, and there's not a whole lot that says it's gonna take a step back in the next year or two.
And have you seen the AFC South and the NFC South? Have you seen those divisions?
Terrible.
That's cool.
Terrible.
So all I'm saying is in the next 4 weeks they still got to play the Vikings, they got to play y'all, they got to play Philly, and they got the Colts.
All right, hold on, Ant. Can I steal one of your bits? Can I steal 100 chips real fast? Can I steal 100 chips? All right. So listen, JP, Mitch, and Pete Haley, they have this thing where they do 100 chips. Okay, so 100 chips. You got 100 chips for 3 teams: Seattle, Detroit, and the Giants. Where are you putting your money? Let's go around.
All 100?
100. You can put it.
You can break it up.
You break it up.
I'm
bring
just
this-
asking.
Okay.
Go ahead. Hey, Mitch, show them how to do this. 100 chips, please.
So for the, we're assuming the Commanders are the other playoff team, and we're talking about the last playoff team to make it.
Yes. Yes.
I got 50 on the Lions. I got 25 each on Seahawks and Giants.
And that's his 100.
I'd go 60 on Seattle. I'd go 30 on Detroit, and I put 10 on the Giants. Oh, 100, however you break it up.
You realize Seattle's next 2 weeks, they got the Niners and the Seahawks. I mean, they got the Niners and the Chiefs.
Wait. Let's.
And I
bring
just
this
told
back.
you the two
And
teams that the Giants got to play.
And-
They're not making it out of this alive. Brian
What
Daboll
happened
has
to
been
you?
Brian Daboll been juggling. He's doing like mind stuff with Daniel Jones. That stuff's gonna run out. It's just
But question, Ant, what happened to you? Because at one point you were like, "Yeah, I want the whole NFC East to be in the playoffs." What happened?
because when we're on this platform, guys, we can be hopeful all we want to. At some point, we got to be realist. Like at some point, you can't pick you can't pick the Commanders every week. At some point, they're gonna lose.
Let's get Lady A's 100 chips.
Man, are y'all sure y'all want me to do this? Because last time y'all gave me something, and I had to
Three teams for 100 chips. That's it.
spend my money. Y'all complain.
Can you? Okay.
You was wilding though.
Say it. Can you?
JP can never get the 100 chips right because he can't add the 100.
He can't add subtract. Right. Say it. 100 chips. Where you putting them? Where you putting them at, man?
What was the 3 teams again? It was Washington.
It's
Seattle,
Detroit.
Giants,
Look at him. He was
Detroit.
being petty. That's
in
all.
New York. Yeah, it sure was. Like this is for
I'm
the
gonna
last
put,
playoff spot.
actually, I'm gonna put 50 on Detroit
Okay.
and 25 on the other 2.
Okay. So
Because I
just
think Detroit has the easiest schedule
yes,
down
they
the
do.
stretch.
They do.
Yep.
They do.
Lady A.
I don't like Detroit. I would do the same, the 50 and the 25 and 25. I would
Right.
split it up and be a little more, because I feel like Ant was the only one extra this time, but I'm not gonna be extra.
It's not extra. It's
Hey,
just
okay.
it's what I believe. Am I
this is
extra
how I'm
because
gonna
I
do it.
believe that?
This is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go 75 on Detroit.
You-
I'm gonna put 24 on the Giants, and I got 1 chip for Seattle.
Wow.
Say it. This is coming from a cast who hasn't picked against Washington all year.
No,
Wait,
I
who?
have. I actually have picked against Washington.
Yeah, he did it. He
Oh,
lost.
Philly. That was the only
He
game.
lost.
And that wasn't hard. And y'all did win, but I'm
And
just
we-
saying that wasn't hard.
But we're talking to a man
Come
who
on,
hasn't gone against Dallas as well.
Yes, I have.
When? I will run the tape
the,
back.
the I picked against us on the Bucks.
Game 1?
Hey,
No,
Yeah.
I'm probably lying.
yeah, you are.
I feel like
Don't
he did
worry.
because I had a
Don't-
conversation.
No, I did pick against the Cowboys. I have picked against the Cowboys.
Oh,
No,
don't worry,
I
I'm
think
gonna
he
run it back.
did for the Bucks though.
Run it
Real
back.
talk,
You ain't
though.
gonna run it back. You
I'm
just
gonna run it
saying
back.
that.
I really
You
feel
ain't
like
running
he
nothing
did.
back.
I don't think he's lying, guys,
I'm gonna
because
run it back.
I
Don't
remember
worry about
having
it.
a conversation with him.
Hey, I'll
early.
give you a spoiler alert. I'm picking against them on Sunday.
Oh.
Got you. Hey,
They're
listen.
picking against the Cowboys on Sunday?
Yes.
What?
We don't do well in Jacksonville. We've never historically did well in Jacksonville.
What?
Like and it seemed and Trevor Lawrence seemed like he's starting to figure it out all of a sudden. It's making me mad because
Hey,
then when you
actually-
start picking
actually,
against you,
they-
now you
they
start
told
figuring
him-
it out.
They told Trevor, "Hey, it's time for you to start playing."
And he
like
can
a
run.
superstar quarterback. Hey, listen,
Mm.
we did an hour with Mitch Tischler here. Today we got an OG classic for real. We're doing an OG classic. Mitch, do me a favor. Hit me with your address so we can get you a hat,
All right.
and I'll try to make it a big hat, but I can't promise.
Do not spend that money.
All right, but listen, man, we really appreciate you jumping in with us again, and hopefully I can get you back before the playoffs start. And you guys are really, really busy all over the place, so we'll stay in touch.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you
All
for
right,
joining us,
thank
man.
you.
All right,
We
Mitch, we'll see you
appreciate
later.
it. Thank you, Mitch.
The
Listen.
Tischler.
Yes. Make sure you check him out. He's on Twitter. His at Mitch Tischler, at Mitch_Tischler is where you can find him on Twitter, and MSC Sports Washington, and his podcast with JP and Pete Haley. Those guys are awesome and funny, and that's where I just stole his bit from the 100 chips. Say it. Put it back up there, man. So you done switched
I
hats like
still
7
see
times.
it.
Put what back up there? What we talking about? What I do?
Your comment, I see it.
No. No. Say it. Boom, boom, boom. There it is, right there. Got it.
Yeah.
Never mind. I got it.
No,
So
that's not the first one I did. The first one didn't go up. That's the second one.
Oh,
I got it though. All right, so say the switched hats. We got these things coming now in all different colors. So if you would like one of the hats, just hit say it up right there.
I forgot what the blue one looked like.
And you
you
really?
just had it on.
You just had it on.
Like literally.
Hey, Dad is over here flexing. So if you want one of these hats, hit say it up at ublink71. That's on Twitter. And then we have an email address for you guys also. So just drop that. If you don't have Twitter, then go
Fancy.
firststringpodcast@gmail.com and give us your information and everything and say it'll get back with you right there. All right. Perfect. Listen, do not forget to like and subscribe to the First String Podcast. Give us a thumbs up, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all's comments. This podcast right here will be available tomorrow morning for downloads and listen on Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google, wherever you get a podcast. You can always plug us in your ear and listen at work, on the job. Please tell a friend about First String Podcast as well. We appreciate each and every one of y'all for joining us, man. Hey, say it. We got an OG classic today. Tell them what it is.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Artlist.io